I am Brian Downs, and this is a Republic if you can keep it. I'm coming to you about 10:20 in the morning on January 18th, 2026 from Orlando, Florida. I now wish to make a statement that I feel not enough of you have heard. Donald Trump is not an evil god. He is not the Baron Harkonnen. He is not Emperor Palpatine. He is a fool, an imbecile, a failure who has managed to fail upward his whole life long on the strength of his lies. Because he lies with great confidence, he has managed to succeed. He is an extraordinarily rare creature. Most people who fit Donald Trump's psychological profile, or even fit it, let's say 75%, are in prison. So, please give up the doomerism. So many people I see saying, oh, everything's screwed. Oh, there's no hope. I don't need you. Again, Donald Trump is the luckiest failure in the world. Most people who are anything like him are in prison. Donald Trump is the exception, not the rule. Now, what he is doing with ICE in Minnesota and around the nation is stupid. It is deplorable. It is especially stupid when we keep in mind that Presidents Obama and President Biden deported hundreds and hundreds of thousands of illegals without triggering any constitutional crisis or murdering anyone. Trump's regime is doing that job certainly no more effectively than Biden and Obama did it, but with a great deal more trouble and torment. This, by definition, is failure. But keep in mind that that's happening on relatively few streets in America. It is hugely controversial. It is failing before our eyes. The recruitment practices and standards of ICE are farcical at this point, because that's the only way they can get people to be involved in this idiot job is by recruiting desperate idiots who will either do anything for money or have some kind of brain damage. Donald Trump is failing. Now, does he have the power to cause terror, trouble, destruction, loss of life? Yes, he does. But he will not succeed. There's no reason to think he will. He's got dementia now. He has been his whole life long a fraud, a liar. The only reason anyone spends any time with him is because they get their money from him. That's it. That's all. That's why. They either get money or power from him. And he thinks that's fine. He thinks of those people as being his family and friends. Some of them are, of course, biologically related, but that's a triviality here. They're there for the money. And many of them, of course, have no choice but to go down with the ship. Do you think Eric Trump or Don Jr. or Pete Hegseth have futures? No. The children might be able to hole up somewhere on a pile of money and try to ignore the world that despises them. But there's no going forward for any of these people. Especially in the Greenland crisis. Donald Trump is not an evil god. I see a lot of people saying we're going to go to war with NATO, and then the Europeans are going to cut off all trade with us, and then the Europeans are going to take as prisoners tens of thousands of American service personnel who are stationed in Europe right now. Okay, none of that's not going to happen. Is Donald Trump an imbecile? Yes. Is this NATO crisis an absolutely unforced and manufactured error that Donald Trump is doing because he wants to feel like the big boy and mommy's bestest, because he thinks it's something he can accomplish quickly and then wave around over his head during a news cycle to say, look what I did? Yes, of course that's true. But we're not going to war with NATO. The leadership in Europe are not stupid. They can see that Donald Trump is doomed. He is plunging into the pit with both engines on fire. He is sailing into midterms where he will be absolutely hammered like a rented anvil and then be impeached. The Europeans want to continue doing business with America, and they understand that Donald Trump is not America. NATO, of course, does not want to be in a shooting war with the United States, and the United States doesn't want to be in a shooting war with NATO. The American people will have no stomach for that. Over Greenland? Ridiculous. Now, of course, Trump babbles out insane lies. Oh, well, we need Greenland for America's security. What are you talking about? Yes, Greenland is strategically positioned in the North Atlantic. Greenland was important in World War II during the Battle of Atlantic. Greenland was important during the Cold War when the Soviet Navy, Soviet not Russian, was in fact a significant military force that projected Soviet authority around the globe. That was then, this is now. World War II, as I'm sure you've noticed, my viewers, is over. And the Russians as a power barely exist. They got their guts shot out in Ukraine by a nation of heroes who have stood the line against autocracy and kleptocracy and tyranny. The idea that the Russian, in air quotes, Navy is a threat to the North Atlantic is absurd. And let us not forget, of course, that during World War II and during the Cold War, Greenland, which is members of NATO, helped us out all the time. I can't remember there ever being any serious difficulty with Greenland. They are an ally of the United States. So when we have wanted to use Greenland to launch aircraft or refuel naval vessels, Greenland's never given us any trouble about that. They've been pals. So Donald Trump babbles out his insane lies because he thinks of it as a real estate acquisition, and he just wants to dominate a news cycle. He's an idiot, of course, and his brain is tapioca, but the European leaders understand that. Their brains aren't tapioca. So here's what's going to happen. Number one, the American people have absolutely no appetite for a confrontation with NATO in Greenland. Absurd. Ad infinitum. The Republican Party will not support a confrontation in Greenland. And Donald Trump's clock is running out. He will be impeached after the midterms, or he may drop dead. The man's health is clearly a disaster. Or he may just cease any kind of cognitive function. He's clearly in advancing dementia. Donald Trump is not going to be around that much longer. The Europeans know it. So even if some American special forces land in Greenland, so what? The Europeans will, protest, they will negotiate, they will engage in some tit for tat with tariffs, all of which is a pretty good mess, I agree. But it's not a war with NATO. That's not going to happen. Donald Trump is a villain and a bastard. He has destroyed everything he has ever touched. But he won't destroy this nation. Take heart. Think where our enemies are weak. Remember that Donald Trump has not succeeded at anything. And what did he succeed at in his first term? What has he succeeded at now? Has he fixed American health care? No, he's made it much worse. His poll numbers look like it's like an SNL skit. I see his poll numbers on my computer screen and I think, is there something wrong with his monitor? I didn't know you could have numbers like this. And now he's older and sicker and dumber than he ever was. This is not when he suddenly turns his life around and becomes good at accomplishing things. Take heart. We, the Americans, will solve this problem. Donald Trump will either be impeached or removed by the 25th Amendment or drop dead. And then we'll clean up his mess. Do not give up. Think where our enemies are weak.